what's up guys, it's Aptex here. In today's video, we'll be taking a look at the brand new version of Eden Nintendo Switch emulator for Android, the Eden emulator version 0.4 revision 2. Now this update was released 3 days ago and it has lot of bug fixes and even Q-Launch fix for Android devices. You guys can see all of its changelog on its official GitHub, as the Eden emulator is a completely open source project, and in terms of Android fixes, you guys can see various UI fix-up and improvements, fix rotate and unpause bug. Along with that, fixes for Q-Launch. There are also these internal changes which have been made, along with slight performance increase for shader compilation. Now we also have a brand new build of Eden emulator which is specialized Android builds. For example, Antutu build of Eden emulator which will provide you with better performance. You guys can see it is even altered package name, so it can enhance performance by making your Android device think as if it is an benchmarking app. So we'll add the Antutu version of Eden emulator on our Android device. So here you guys can see I have two versions of Eden emulator, the normal Eden as well as Eden Antutu. We'll be checking out and testing the Eden Antutu build, as it will provide us with the best performance possible inside any Nintendo Switch emulator. So let's tap on the next button, tap on skip, and we'll import all the necessary stuff that is required to run this emulator. And once we have added all the necessary stuff, you guys can see our brand new Eden emulator has successfully started. There are few changes in terms of UI. So if we just go ahead and rotate our phone, you guys can see the UI like this. But if we tap on the eye icon, you can also set it to list, compact grid as well as grid layout. But the carousel layout is actually pretty nice along with the grid layout. So let's select it and we'll go to settings. Afterwards we'll go to app settings and set the theme to dark mode so you guys can see it a bit better. We'll go to GPU driver manager first, tap on the fetch button, because the best part about emulating Switch games is the graphics driver. So if you have a Snapdragon Android device, make sure to use the Mesa Turnip driver 26.0.0 revision 2. But for today's video, as I have a Snapdragon 8 Elite device, I'll go with the Qualcomm 849 graphics driver which has been added here. So Eden emulator basically makes the integration very easy. We'll go to advanced settings now. Make sure to set the limit speed percentage to 400 and dock mode should be disabled. As usual, the settings are, as I always show you guys, 0.25x for super low-end Android device and best performance, 0.75x for all mid-range to high-end Android devices. We'll enable asynchronous shaders and force maximum clocks. And once again, as this is the Antutu version of Eden emulator, your Android device will get quite hot if you have flagship device. So Antutu version only works well with mid-range Android devices with MediaTek or Snapdragon processor. In terms of aspect ratio, we'll enable stretch to window. I have went to performance overlay and I have enabled frame time as well as battery temperature. Now we'll go to the Eden Swell section where extended dynamic state, make sure to disable this if you are trying to play Pokemon Legends EA. If not, then you can set it to 3. Keep everything else as what you see right here. Afterwards, we'll scroll down, enable custom CPU ticks and set the CPU ticks around 40,000. Once that has been done, simply go back once again, and we have successfully set up the Eden Nintendo Switch emulator Antutu version. Now we'll tap on the applet launcher, afterwards go to the Q-Launch feature, and it has been finally fixed. It was unfortunately not working in the previous version of Eden emulator for some reason. So you can tap on any game that you want to play, but let's just go ahead and exit the applet launcher because we want to test out some games. The first game that we'll be trying out is going to be Pokemon Legends EA, one of the newest Nintendo Switch titles, and before it used to just crash, and that still remains the same. If you try opening this game, it will crash on Snapdragon 8 Elite. It works very well with Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 or below. Let's try out our next game, which is going to be Dragon Ball Z Kakarot. And here you guys can see our game has successfully started. I want to see if we get graphical issues, and unfortunately I can see it has logged out at 0 FPS. So I think it might be because of the extended dynamic state. So extended dynamic state, I'll make sure to disable it. Let's try out Dragon Ball Z Kakarot once again. So here we go. Once again, you guys can see it is stuck at 0 FPS. This might also be because of the graphics driver or custom CPU ticks. Now I have disabled the graphics driver and we'll be trying out this game one last time. I have also disabled custom CPU ticks. So let's choose the language and see if the game freezes or not. Unfortunately, you guys can see it freezes, which means there is an issue where Dragon Ball Z Kakarot doesn't work on Eden emulator on Snapdragon 8 Elite. Let's try out our next game, which is going to be Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu. I have imported a save file for Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu, and here we go. First of all, you'll need to go to Control, select Player 1 Control, tap on Connected and set the controller as handheld, so that Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu actually works inside the Eden emulator. You guys can check out the FPS at the top left corner of our screen. We are getting about 100 FPS but graphical issues because of the extended dynamic state. Without extended dynamic state, you guys can see our graphics have been successfully loaded. So here we go. Once our game actually starts, you guys can see we are getting about 120 FPS, and that too because we have set the limit speed percentage to 400. If we disable this option, we can even get more than 120 FPS. So here you guys can see I am getting about 185 FPS while emulating Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu. Isn't that crazy? I think it is pretty crazy because just take a look at the FPS which we are getting. Let's exit the house and see what kind of FPS do we get in outside world areas. And for some reason in Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu outside world areas, the FPS is capped to 35. No matter what device you try it, even it can be any low-end MediaTek processor or even the highest of the high-end flagship Android devices like the Snapdragon 8 Elite. You guys can see our Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu is running at 30 FPS in outside world areas, around 38 FPS. So yeah, the Eden emulator definitely brings lot of improvements, and the Antutu version will especially be really good if you are playing games like Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild or Tears of the Kingdom. High-end titles, it will work really well even on low-end devices. Anyways, that's going to be it for today's video. Thanks for watching. Hit that like button, subscribe, turn on all notification. I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.